California Heartland is made possible by the James G. Boswell Foundation, committed to sharing the stories and successes of California growers. Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Funding provided in part by the California Farm Bureau Federation, proud publishers of California Country magazine. More information is available at californiacountry.org. And by the Almond Board of California. California almonds, loved around the world, grown in California's heartland. And by Real California Milk. This seal ensures your favorite dairy brands are made exclusively with Real California Milk. More information at realcaliforniamilk.com.
A predator in this small Sierra lake posed a serious threat to California's aquaculture.
If the state thinks it has problems with the salmon spawn now, you can't even imagine what the pike could do.
See how residents and the Department of Fish and Game work together to reel in the problem and how they've kept pike out of Lake Davis. Plus,
how many kids have their own chocolate company?
A young group of entrepreneurs is tasting the sweet success of chocolate. And
if you're looking for a garden good guy, it's hard to beat ladybugs.
Why refrigerating ladybugs can save your garden. Next on California Heartland. From your backyard to the back country, in a field or on your family table, it's all about what keeps California moving and growing. This is California Heartland.
Five-year-old Kaiten White is determined. She's about to head out on Lake Davis, and her grandpa has promised to help her catch her very first fish.
She hasn't caught a fish yet, so it'll be good to get her out here and see her face and get a picture of it.
Today, the odds of catching a trout are pretty good for Kaiten and the dozens of others who are casting their lines. But that wasn't always the case. Trouble began for Lake Davis in the early 90s with the discovery of a fish that wasn't supposed to be there. An angler caught a northern pike, an extremely aggressive predator that devours its competition. In this case, Lake Davis's prized trophy trout. Officials determined the pike had been illegally planted in the lake. That would begin a 14-year saga that would create a bitter feud between the community and the Department of Fish and Game, as well as cripple the local economy.
Hey, good morning.
How you doing?
Good. How's the fishing doing?
Good.
Sarah Bensinger's store is just steps from the lake. She's often the resident expert on what's biting and what's not.
You're familiar with the lake or you're not?
Not really, no.
I'll do you a little map, show you where to launch, show you where the fish are, tell you all the secrets I tell everybody.
When Bensinger bought the Grizzly Store and Resort in 1999, it was no secret the northern pike had invaded the lake. The nearby community of Portola had been extremely vocal in its protest over the state's efforts to poison the lake.
In 1997, they did a chemical treatment to eliminate pike that had been found here in about 1994, and a pike reappeared about 18 months later in 1999. And we've been working with the community ever since to get to this point.
Well, this is our drinking water supply. From what I understand, that was a cancer-causing agent, and that's what concerned me. Married, and my wife and my 3 kids were living up here, and I was very concerned about the chemical problems.
So a lot of people may not realize it wasn't just the lake that was affected by the pike eradication, it was the forest as well.
Yes, it was. From the Plumas National Forest side, we put in a forest closure for public health and safety to help protect the tributaries and all where we were going to have workers. That way we prevented an accidental contact with the public with the chemicals, and it also allowed us for a smoother operation.
But the protest and the poisoning went on. For 2 years, residents waited. The pike came back, but the people didn't.
They did the original eradication of pike in 1997, and then 10 days after I purchased the store and closed escrow, they rediscovered pike.
Well, as a business owner, I was completely against the treatment of the lake. It was an economic disaster for our business. We lost a lot of customers, a lot of revenue.
But the pike weren't just threatening this northern Sierra Lake. There was an even bigger problem. Officials feared the pike might escape Lake Davis and travel downstream to the Sacramento and American rivers, and then possibly into the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta. It was a scenario that could have caused an ecological and economical disaster for the state.
If the state thinks it has problems with the salmon spawn now, you can't even imagine what the pike could do. Pike they're aggressive fish. They'll take over a body of water.
It's the same with a lot of other invasive species, but this one was a particular problem right here in this location and its potential downstream impacts. And you know, the economy up here was really suffering, as well as the environment and the wildlife and the fisheries.
If the pike had made it downstream, it could have taken a huge bite out of California's commercial fishing industry by threatening the already fragile delta. Remember, there are no known predators for the pike in California, and this fish eats everything. That's what led the Department of Fish and Game to go for a second round of eradication treatments in 2007.
Last time it was very controversial and confrontational up here, and this time the businesses welcomed us with open arms and invited us into their community.
Finally, after removing nearly 65,000 pike from this precious water source, Lake Davis has a clean bill of health.
We're looking at the lake water. We have trap nets out there, and we've had 170 days approximately of net time in there, and we found no pike.
More than a dozen years after the pike were first discovered, the predator appears to be gone, and the community is celebrating.
What a beautiful day. Lake Davis is back. It's once again back as one of the premier destinations, certainly in California.
Fish and Game plans to restock Lake Davis with more than 1 million rainbow trout. These aren't just any old fish, though. They come from Eagle Lake, which means they're hardier and they're faster growing, which also means they have a greater chance of survival.
So how do you guys feel about that?
Feel good. It's fun.
Back at the Grizzly store, Bensinger has her own set of goals. Now that the fishermen are back, she's ready to reel in her own dreams.
I would like to see the lake become so popular that we would be able to stay open maybe 2 or 3 extra months or maybe all year round. That would be great.
The community and the federal agencies all worked hand in hand to make this happen, and it worked out right this time. It was beautiful. Brand new beginning, and we're excited about it.
We are totally psyched. Very psyched. Fish on.
And what about Lake Davis's newest fishing fan? Yep, Katie White has caught her very first fish. Her grandpa has the picture to prove it.
You've probably heard of Chilean sea bass, but have you heard of California white sea bass? This firm fish is a popular dish, and it's found right here in California. The fish is caught down along the Pacific coast, and its average size is between 10 and 30 pounds. Sea bass is loved for its tender, moderately fatty, and flaky texture, which makes it perfect for searing, poaching, pan-frying, or grilling. Food and lifestyle expert Laura McIntosh is bringing it home and prepares a poached sea bass meal with a little help from the Tadich Grill in San Francisco.
We're cooking today this next recipe with a sea bass, but you can substitute. Don't be afraid because it's very easy to do. Okay, now Rajko,
yeah.
Do you have this much fun at the Tadich Grill?
I do a lot of fun cooking, and I enjoy it.
Well, let's get started.
Yeah, let's go start.
Let's just do it. Okay, this is a simple recipe.
So this is a simple recipe. This is what we're doing a lot in Croatia. So I just go with a little bit shallots.
Okay.
This doesn't warm it up good. I got a little bit of garlic, a little bit shallots. I add a little bit. This is a mixed vegetable. A little bit tomato, a little bit celery. We got a little bit leeks.
Nice combination.
Yeah, it's a very nice combination. This minute or 2 I cook.
Okay.
I add a little bit of wine. Then I got a little bit of just a little bit of fish stock.
Okay.
This I cook for a minute or 2.
Okay. And do we add the fish to this?
Yes. And so I got a piece of nice sea bass.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, nice sea bass. Just put a little bit of pepper.
Okay.
Pepper, I got those spices. So what I do, I need a little bit olive oil.
Okay.
So I just sear this for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just flip it.
Oh,
just a little color to this.
Okay.
So this one, I add a little bit. This will be, I got this dish.
That's awesome.
Then add a little bit more of your...
This is the stock.
This little bit stock, what you got.
This is what we sautéed before. We add that to the fish.
To this dish, I add a little bit
of your other stock.
No, just the one piece. This is going to be my finishing touch.
Look at that.
A
scallop?
1 scallops, 1 prawn. So for this dish, it's nice to put a lid on it.
Ah.
Yeah, you steam it for 5 minutes.
Right. And that's it.
Delicious.
Voila.
Yeah, voila.
We're happy?
Happy puppy.
This looks really fantastic.
Yes. So
and you're right, it was easy.
It's very easy. It's very easy.
And it should be.
It should be easy.
Cooking should be fun and easy.
What I do, I just put this on the middle of the plate.
Okay. Look at that. With fresh fish.
Fresh fish.
Fresh ingredients.
So to finish this dish, I garnish with
You're
1
gonna
prawn.
get fancy.
Yes, you just garnish with 1 prawn. This rest of it was scallops prawn. I add a little bit cherry wine cream. I just a little bit. So this is, you cook for a second or 2.
Okay, just to get that flavor infused.
Just the flavor infused, that's it. But this is just fine, you know, you can place this on a plate.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Okay.
This is a very, very nice, light dish. You're gonna like it at home.
Oh, I'm gonna like it right now. Look at that.
This is pretty much it.
Oh, then this is the perfect time of year for something so delicious. Remember, all the recipes are on our website. Rajko, you made this so easy.
It's easy.
I can do this.
Try at home.
It's the time of year when farmers markets are bursting at the seams with fresh, locally grown fruits and vegetables.
Nice big berries.
Nice big one?
Yeah.
But this morning at the Davis Farmers Market, shoppers aren't oohing and awing over tomatoes and peaches.
Hello, would you like to sample some chocolate?
They're excited about homegrown chocolate.
Good stuff.
It's fabulous chocolate.
It's good stuff.
But these chocolate bars aren't made by a corporate giant.
Yummy, yummy chocolate girl.
They're made by 7 girls ranging in age from 9 to 14.
We've made about 13,000 bars.
Once a month, the girls, Bay, Sedona, Rowan, Rachel, Sarah, Risa, and Stream gather together to concoct their secret recipe for yummy, dummy chocolate bars.
Is everybody ready? Yeah. Trying to start our show. We'll go with that. Yep.
What started out 3 years ago as a couple of sisters making Christmas gifts is now an assembly line of friends and relatives cranking out various kinds of candy bars.
We have 5 main bars, which are almond, plain, and marshmallow, espresso, and cherry.
From the recipe to the label design and sales and marketing, these girls do it all.
We have a Yummy Dummy meeting, and everybody votes. That's what we do. We go over like what we made today, what we're gonna need, like if something's running low, like chocolate or marshmallows.
Parents are allowed to help out a little. They take turns overseeing the production days, wrapping bars, and building contraptions like Mr. Wiggles, which helps smooth out the chocolate molds. The Nut-O-Matic that drops the almonds into each bar. And the Penguin's Cave, the final stop for cooling the bars. Once the assembly line is ready to go, each girl oversees a station. But it's not all work and no play. While the chocolate tempers for the next batch, the group gets to act like kids.
Is there room for me up there? No. Oh, come on.
Then it's back to making more chocolate to keep up with the demand.
We're doing this extra batch because we ran out and it's only June.
Each bar sells for $2, but the money raised from this sweet success doesn't all go to the girls.
Every quarter, 10% of our profits go to a charity of our choice. It made us feel like we were doing something for someone else instead of just having a chocolate company.
The social awareness doesn't stop there. The group also insists on using only local ingredients and keeping each bar 100% natural.
I think it's just kind of the way they're being brought up, and we're trying not to eat any preservatives at home.
Yummy Dummy bars are gaining popularity throughout Northern California, due in part to its website and support from local businesses like this one.
Hi, girls.
We brought you some chocolate.
Wonderful. This this morning, fresh?
Yeah, this morning.
Excellent. Perfect.
At Rominger West Winery in Davis, winemaker Mark West is a big fan of Yummy Dummy chocolate.
It's really good chocolate. The other is we really like what the kids are doing in terms of their support of charities around the world.
An added plus, it makes for a very good pairing. So for now, the girls enjoy running their own business.
How many kids have their own chocolate company? So it's cool to have to get up in the morning to go make chocolate at like 6.
I also like donating to charities, especially wildlife.
I get to hang out with my friends. It's really nice to do that.
But the best part is definitely eating the leftovers. The roots of California's farming families grow deep. This is the heritage of our heartland.
I'm Madalena Riboli. I'm married to Steve Riboli.
My name is Steve Riboli. I'm the second generation of the San Antonio Winery. My uncle started this winery in 1917.
My name's Steve Riboli, third generation at San Antonio Winery, and we've got a great story to tell you.
What started out as a weekend hobby by Italian immigrant Santo Cambianica has now turned into a multi-million-dollar success story, thanks to one dedicated Los Angeles family.
Uncle Santo came looking for opportunities here in the great new city of Los Angeles. So he came, and his employment at the time was working for the largest employer, which was the Southern Pacific Railroad.
On the weekend, he started as hobby, he started this little winery by the name San Antonio. And he named it after the saint of San Antonio de Padua.
Santo's micro winery began in a rented garage, not only to make a little extra money, but also to keep his European dining traditions alive.
In Nelly, they used to make the little wine. They had a little grape. They know how to do it. And all these brothers together, and all the relatives, they came over at that time. They had to have a glass of wine with their meals. And so that's how he started this little winery.
But just 3 short years into his new business,
this crazy law comes, and it's called Prohibition. Frankly, these Europeans had no concept about it. They said, how could the government create a law that would take away one of our food products? You know, wine was at every meal.
the center of California winemaking came to a crashing halt as winemakers in LA began closing down. But Santo's strong ties to the Catholic Church saved him from going belly up.
Within a very, very short period of time, he begins supplying them wines for the sacrament.
By 1938, running this winery alone was taking its toll on the Italian immigrant. That's when he called his nephew for help.
The first day I arrived here, he put me to work.
When Steve married Madalena in 1946, all three worked hard to come up with creative ways to keep the winery in business.
So my uncle and my dad put their heads together and they said, well, what can we do to survive?
In those days, they were all people that came from Europe, and the people, they drink wine with their meal every day.
My great uncle and my dad were just super hard-working men, but my mother was truly the visionary for the company.
And I would pour a little taste, and I said if I'd give them a taste and they like it, they would buy it.
And so we became the first winery in the state to have a wine tasting room.
And that's how we survive.
After Santo passed away, his winery was left in the hands of Steve and Madalena. Together, the couple expanded and bought vineyards in Paso Robles, Monterey, and Napa.
Well, first of all, we bought the best grapes, and we have vineyards ourselves.
With the expansion of vineyards up north came changes to the original winery in LA, adding a restaurant in Madalena's name,
from the juice.
plus a bigger wine tasting room.
White. The darker a red wine is because the longer they ferment it.
Now the third and fourth generations of Ribbles are working together to keep this family business competitive and successful.
And here's the next generation of the company. Here's Anthony, my nephew, fantastic winemaker, super talented young man. Here's Michael, and Michael is a super salesman. He's probably going to take over for what I do as a marketer of the company.
The family is now producing 5 million bottles of wine a year.
Do you ever think about that your family is doing it a lot harder than other families in California because you have a huge operation here down in Los Angeles, right, but then half of your other operation is up north in Napa and Paso Robles, going back and forth, where some guys are just staying in one location. How do you?
You know, Jennifer, it's a good question, and we've been able to manage it. It is tough. I won't kid you. We do visit our vineyards real often. Every couple weeks, we're at our vineyards, and during harvest, we're there every day. The plus side is we're in the middle of 14 million people here.
For the Ribbles, carrying on their uncle's winemaking traditions and strong family values is a given, and will ensure that this little winery and their family tree will continue to grow.
If he were here now to see things like that, I don't think he'll believe it. From the little garage that we start and what we have now, we've been lucky.
Everyone's a farmer when it comes to their own backyard. Try these tips for doing it homegrown.
Here in California, battling pests is a year-round job, and our pests extend from microscopic insects to four-legged animals. And with all the chemicals available to control these unwanted bad guys, what do you choose? Well, I've got some safe, effective means for controlling the pests in your yard without harming the good guys. Let me show you a few. One of the most damaging insect pests in California is a sucking insect known as the aphid. Well, hello, Mr. Bad Guy. Now, how do you battle aphids without using harsh chemicals that might destroy the beneficial insects, which are also on this very plant battling the aphids? Your first line of attack against aphids in the garden should be this: a blast of water from the garden hose. Just be sure to hit the top side and the underside of the leaves, and that's going to wash the aphids off. Once they get knocked to the ground, they're not going to get back up into the plant, and without a food source, they're going to perish. So let's get us a few aphids here. Take that. If you're looking for a garden good guy, it's hard to beat ladybugs. And the best part of all is you can buy ladybugs at just about any nursery. When you buy the ladybugs, take it home, stick it in the refrigerator overnight. The following morning, go get a branch of the plant that's infected and cut it off. Let's say this alstroemeria has a few aphids on it, and I'm sure it does. So what we're going to do is take the plant that has the aphids on it, a branch or so, and in the morning, put it in the bag. And then you're going to take the ladybugs and open it up. Hello, boys. And put a few of those in the bag. Close up the bag lightly and stick it over by the plant that has all the aphids in it. So by cooling them down, that makes them not want to fly. By giving them a taste of what's there, they know there's food around, and by placing the paper bag next to the plant that has all the bad bugs, they know they don't have to go away to have a good meal. Ladybugs, it's a great solution. If you need to up the battle against the aphids in your yard, turn to this: insecticidal soap. The fatty acids in insecticidal soap smother insects like aphids, thrips, and whiteflies. It won't harm the beneficial insects, it won't harm the plant, and best of all, it won't harm your family. When you look at the leaves on your plant and you see chew marks like this, that's the telltale sign of one of California's most unpopular bad guys, snails and slugs. When it comes to controlling snails and slugs, there are a lot of chemical controls on the market. If you're concerned about the health of your family, though, the active ingredient to avoid would be metaldehyde. So look for the ones that contain iron phosphate as the active ingredient. Another family-safe method to control snails and slugs is copper tape. As weird as it sounds, but copper tape acts like an electric fence when it comes to snails and slugs. When they come up to it, they turn right around and go away. The trick, though, is when you put the copper tape down, make sure there are no snails and slugs inside the plants at the time. Otherwise, you've just locked them in the restaurant. When you go nursery shopping, take a close look at the plants you're purchasing. Don't just look at the tops. Look below. Look at the underside of the leaves and make sure there are no hitchhiking pests. There are a lot of chemicals on the market to control insects. Choose the ones that are a safer alternative. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some nursery shopping to do. Hey, I like these.
That's California Heartland. For more information on any of these stories, go to californiaheartland.org. I'm Chris Burrows. We'll see you next time.
They're having fun.
To order a copy of this show, visit us online or call 1-888-814-3923. The cost is $14.95 plus shipping. California Heartland is made possible by the James G. Boswell Foundation, committed to sharing the stories and successes of California growers. Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Funding provided in part by the California Farm Bureau Federation, proud publishers of California Country magazine. More information is available at californiacountry.org. And by the Almond Board of California. California almonds, loved around the world, grown in California's heartland. And by Real California Milk. This seal ensures your favorite dairy brands are made exclusively with Real California Milk. More information at realcaliforniamilk.com.